Moving on to other new, Chinese and U.S. delegates arrives for second day of trade talks. The meeting will focus on the high-stakes trade dispute between the two countries that has widened in recent weeks beyond tit-for-tat tariff to export controls over goods and components critical to global supply chain. For more details, let's cross to our CGTN colleague Lee Junhua.
Julian, good to see you there. This is the second day of the trade talks between the world's two largest economies, and the Chinese delegation has arrived at just what you said just now. And the Chinese delegation, let me pan the camera and zoom on the Chinese delegation right now. So the Chinese delegation is headed by Vice Premier He Lifang, and also in our camera you can also see the Commerce Minister Wang Wentao and China Trade Representative Li Changong, and now they are entering that Lancaster House in central London, a 19th century building over there. So it was quick, but if it was like yesterday, children, the American delegation would arrive later, probably about half an hour after the Chinese delegation arrived. Now they are all in the building very briefly. So let me bring you up to date of what happened yesterday. A recap, Julian, just in case. And yesterday, the Chinese and American delegation talked for over 6 hours here in the Lancaster House. And right after that, the Chinese delegation came out first, and half an hour after that, the American delegation. But the Chinese delegation didn't give any comment. And then we asked the American delegation if there was any update yesterday after over 6 hours of discussion. Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary, also the head of the US delegation, said to us it was a good meeting. And also the Commerce Secretary of the United States, Howard Lutnick, said it was fruitful, just the one word. And overnight, US President Donald Trump tweeted saying that China is not easy and I'm only getting good reports. And Chuyan, this is a continuation of the China-US trade talks in Geneva in May, which was considered rather constructive as the tariffs on each other dropped from the prohibitive over 100% to 30 and 10% respectively. And also the phone call between the Chinese President Xi Jinping and the US President Donald Trump set the tone for the upcoming talks. Yesterday and today, Trump said it was also the first direct engagement between the two presidents. And Donald Trump said it was a good call, and China's President Xi Jinping urged Donald Trump to reduce negative measures against China. Also, he invited Trump to visit China again. So this is what happened yesterday, and also the background. And what is on top of the agenda, and that is the trade restrictions. We know the United States and China really need each other, especially now the trade war has escalated into trade restrictions, and China hopes that it can get access to advanced high-end chips. The United States is heavily reliant on China's rare earth minerals, so that is absolutely on top of the agenda. But of course we have some good signals, we have some good news, and the good signs, and the rare earth minerals export licenses were approved by China right after the talks were announced by the Commerce Ministry. And of course today, all eyes are on what will come out of the trade talk today, and we'll see how much each other would compromise to reach a deal. Julian.
Maybe it was later, maybe Locust then. Yeah, maybe Locust. Yeah.
Well, Julian, today is slightly different from yesterday, apparently. Yesterday, the Chinese delegation arrived first, and the American delegation arrived probably half an hour after that. But it seems like it is slightly different, and they're all here. After over 6 hours of discussions yesterday, I think they are really eager to ink a deal today. And we have seen that there was a motorcade just now, and we're expecting the American delegation to arrive any time soon. Of course, later, okay, so they have arrived already. Let's pan the camera, then we can zoom in on them. You're gonna see. So the American delegation is headed by U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, who yesterday said it was a good meeting right after the hours-long discussion, and they're arriving now one by one, all the cars that you can see in our camera. And also you are expecting the Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick, who is a new addition to the American delegation this time, and of course he is in charge of export controls and restrictions. So in the camera I think you can see him right now, and that is Howard Lutnick, the Commerce Secretary of there, and he is going to the media right now. It's like he is talking to the media. I can't hear what he is saying right now. Okay, so so he's saying hi, he's waving at the media, and now he's entering Lancaster House. Hi, sir, Secretary of Commerce. Okay, so I really wanted to get a question just now. Yesterday we got one, and he said it was rather fruitful. So he has got in, and let's see who will come out of the car for the next. And also the U.S. Trade Representative Jameson Correa will also be here. So let's see who will come out to the car right now. Let's give it a moment. Jameson Correa yesterday was a little bit quiet and reserved. We asked him what came out of the discussions, and he didn't say anything, no comment. So the US delegation is walking in at this point. Again, just for our viewers who has been following this story, trade restrictions are expected to top the agenda between China and the United States. They really need each other, especially at this juncture. And China hopes to get access to advanced chips from the United States, and the US is heavily reliant on China's rare earth minerals. So, and right after the talks were announced, the Commerce Ministry of China released a statement saying that Beijing has already approved a batch of rare earth mineral export licenses, but the United States hopes that after the discussions, hopefully there will be a strong handshake and there will be more rare earth minerals flowing into the American market in volumes. So we'll see how much they would like to compromise today so that they can reach a deal. But today is the day. They are expected to have only 2 days of discussions. And yesterday it lasted over 6 hours. They had a big group meeting for about an hour, and then they moved on to small meetings. Well, Julian, that is pretty much about it here. The Chinese and American delegations have already arrived here, and they are expected to restart that discussion today. We don't know how long that will last. Yesterday, as I said just now, it was over 6 hours and a half. We don't know how long it will last today, but we'll be here, and if the talks are done, if there are any outcomes, you're going to hear it from us first.